Just ahead on American Black Journal, details on a popular event that supports the need to read. We'll talk about this year's Bookstock. Plus, a Detroit agency is helping at-risk boys develop into good husbands, fathers, and leaders. Don't go away. American Black Journal starts now.
American Black Journal is funded by the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, a partner with communities where children come first.
How does diversity bring energy to us all? At DTE Energy, we believe that it's the contributions of all that build great communities. As a company, we grow stronger by welcoming the unique perspectives of everyone. As community members, we support our state's broad culture and heritage. From working closely with women and minority-owned suppliers to embracing our local cultures, DTE Energy is powering diversity. The DTE Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of Detroit Public Television. Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
Ford has a long history of honoring the achievements of great men and women. We also recognize that honoring means ensuring their legacies are carried forward. 2018 marks the 50th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination. To continue his legacy, Ford is partnering with the King Center and encouraging everyone to perform 50 acts of kindness. Between now and August 28, go to mlk54.org and register your act of kindness. Add Ford in the group name, as Ford will recognize select actions from our Southeast Michigan community. Perform your simple act of kindness, and together we'll carry forward Dr. King's dream of creating a beloved community.
Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. It's time for the Detroit area's largest used book and media sale, known as Bookstock. The week-long event raises money for local education and literacy projects. More than 300,000 donated books, DVDs, CDs, magazines, audiobooks, and vinyl records are going to be on sale at bargain prices beginning April 22nd at Laurel Park Place in Livonia. Another highlight is the Bookstock BEST Awards presented to Detroit fourth graders who write the top essays about their favorite book characters. Bookstock is presented by the Jewish Community Relations Council in partnership with several nonprofit groups. Joining me now is Bookstock's honorary co-chair, Neil Rubin from the Detroit News, along with Chartreuse Cargill, who was last year's student essay winner, and her literacy coach at Garvey Academy, Deborah Montgomery. Thank you all for being here on American Black Journal.
Delighted.
Thank you.
Yeah. So one of my favorite events every year, Bookstock. Talk about the idea of getting used media, selling it, and using it to try to encourage literacy efforts.
It's the best kind of recycling, if you ask me. You know, we're taking used books, helping people to read with the money we raise selling used books, and ideally, hey, they can come back and be customers.
Right. What year is this?
This is the 16th year.
Okay.
And kind of astonishing. It just the boulder keeps rolling downhill faster and faster. We're probably going to hit $2 million this year.
Is that right? In sales?
In sales.
Right. And the books and the CDs and the DVDs, they just come from people who are tired of those things in their house, I guess, right?
There's a lot of that. And then it becomes, I think now, it becomes a badge of honor for some people. They will tell me, hey, I made my Bookstock donation. You know, I don't think they're like stealing from their neighbors to get books to donate.
Right.
But I think people more and more are understanding that books don't belong in the basement, they belong in people's laps.
Right. Chartreuse, I want to ask you about the essay you wrote last year and the book that you read that inspired that essay.
Well, it's just all of her books, because my favorite,
That's okay.
My favorite book character is Junie B. Jones.
Oh, Junie B. Jones, that's who you wrote the essay about.
Yes.
Okay.
She has lots of books and other things to read.
And tell me how you got interested in Junie B. Jones.
I got interested in her when actually my teacher, Miss Montgomery, introduced me to her.
Yeah, and have you read all of her books or just most of them?
Most of them.
Most of them. What did you write in your essay about her?
I wrote about her personality because she can be funny and sometimes very serious.
Yeah, yeah.
Or just really concerned, maybe.
Right, right. No, my kids were big fans of Junie B. Jones as well. Talk about how this sort of integrates with the literacy efforts at Garvey.
Well, you know, just the opportunity that we give children to actually write about what they're reading. And what I loved about Chartreuse is she was able to make their personal connection. That's really what you want students to do.
Yeah.
Connect with the characters in the book so that they establish a lifelong journey of reading.
Yeah. Talk about teaching young people, though, to write essays about what they read. That's I sort of remember doing that, I guess, in school. But talk about that process.
Well, you know, the kids' most favorite thing to read is actually their own writing.
Is that right?
And when you incorporate writing in your classroom, it excites them. They love sharing out. They love being authors. They love publishing their work. So when teachers really incorporate writing, reading just kind of comes naturally in the classroom.
Yeah. And are there other things that you're doing during the year to sort of encourage that self-publishing?
Oh, yes, it's a continual process, especially in Detroit Public Schools. The past few years, we have definitely been pushing reading, writing, and just trying to get the students to really push through. Of course, Chartreuse is easy because she's so well-rounded, but the other students are really taking a liking to the opportunities that they've been given.
Yeah. So Chartreuse, which is your favorite, reading or writing?
Writing, actually.
Yeah. Why?
Because I like to, Junie B. Jones lets you grow with her. So I like to write about how she helped me grow.
Yeah. How old were you when you started reading Junie B. Jones?
9.
9. Okay. And how old are you now?
11.
11. Okay. So that's 2 years. That's a long time that she's been with you, teaching you about things. Talk more about the sort of whole idea behind Bookstock and sort of where you guys came up with this.
Well, it's actually kind of the second go-around. The Brandeis University Women's Alumni Club had a long-time used book sale in Southfield. And frankly, you know, they were getting older and the books weren't getting any lighter and they just gave it up.
Yeah.
And the people who jump-started Bookstock are just a bunch of friends, basically, who looked at each other and said, hey, that was a great thing. I wonder if we could bring that back. And my involvement actually started when I wrote a column about the first one.
Okay.
You know, in the Detroit News, and they were hoping to get maybe 15 or 20,000 books
Yeah.
for people to choose from. And again, it has just kept growing, and the dedication is ferocious. It's entirely volunteer. Nobody gets paid.
Wow.
And I think as much to keep ourselves interested as anything, we have all kinds of different activities and specials throughout the week, trying to bring people back, frankly. We get a big splash on the opening Sunday, you know, which is April 22nd, with our pre-sale. It's the only time it costs to get in. $20 gets you in the door from 8:15 to 11, and you get first pick. And the collectors come out. Pro tip, do not stand between the cookbooks and the cookbook collectors. It's a hazardous thing.
Is that the really hot
that
spot,
Sunday
right?
Yeah, more than anything else. Anyway, you know, Tuesday we've got the best awards, and from 3 to 9 p.m., teachers, it's Teacher Appreciation Day.
Right.
Teachers get 50% off.
Yeah. That's really great.
Yeah. You know, bookstockmi.org, we've got the entire listing of all the specials and all the extra reasons to come out. One key is, obviously, we can't display 300,000 books at once.
Right.
So we're putting new stuff out every
All
day.
the
It's not like
time,
all the
yeah.
good stuff is gone on Sunday. There's fresh merchandise all week long.
Yeah. I talked some about the literacy projects that benefit from this. Which programs are those?
They're far-reaching. The Oakland Literacy Council has been one since the beginning. Sometimes it's very targeted. You know, we funded book clubs in Inkster, books for high school seniors in Detroit, refurbished the library at Earhart School in Detroit. there's a long list.
Yeah.
And when you're, when you're sort of this small, nimble is the word businesses always want to use, we can look at a problem and say, hey, all it takes is a couple $1,000 to solve that.
Right.
Hey, we put on a show, we've got a couple $1,000.
Right, we can do that. So Chartreuse, are you going to enter the essay contest this year as well?
Sure.
You are?
Yeah.
What are you going to write about this time?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure yet? What are some of the books that you've been reading in the last year?
Diary of the Wimpy Kid.
My kids love those too.
Yeah, and just a lot of other books.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of students who want to enter this contest particularly?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
Well, the high interest reads right now, the kids love to respond to the characters because, again, they can make those connections. So it's a very fun project.
Yeah. The future of Bookstock. So one of the things I think is really interesting about this is that it's people buying books and CDs and DVDs, hard media. Think about the ways in which people are sort of walking away from that, and yet every year you have this event where people mob the mall to buy this old world media. That's sort of ironic, I think.
Yeah, well, and I'm not gonna lie, we were a little bit concerned. We talked about this a few years ago, are we gonna become outmoded?
Yeah.
And no, there's a lot of people still who want to hold books in their hands.
Yeah.
They want to turn the pages. I was actually planning a column in that regard and was looking up a few things last week. Regular books, printed material, is still about 65% of the book market.
Is that right?
That's a slightly exaggerated figure for various reasons that are way too boring to get into here. Ebooks tend to get undercounted.
Okay.
But still, much of the book industry is still what we think of as the books that are going away.
Right.
And when you think $2 million cumulative in all these years of Bookstock, that's mostly $1 and $3 at a time.
Right.
That's a lot of books.
That's a lot. That's a lot of books, and I would imagine that in addition to collectors who want these books, you're also just getting people who still just like to read.
Well, that's just it. I stock up on mysteries for my mother-in-law. I get a bunch of stuff for myself, and I donate books every year. But I'm kind of under strict orders at home to stop adding to the accumulation of books.
And, stacking them up.
So I confess, there have been years where I've just kept the books in the trunk of my car and not admitted that they exist and just sort of brought them into the house one at a time.
Yeah, all right. Well, bookstockmi.org, April 22nd. It kicks off at Laurel Place Park in Livonia.
Yes, 6 Mile, just east of 275.
Yeah. And good luck to you again, Chartreuse, in the essay contest, and keep up the good work at Garvey.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being here.
My pleasure.
Up next, an organization that's helping young men rise above negative behaviors and perceptions. But first, we're taking a look back at some of the guests on this program over the last 50 years. Here's a 1991 interview with Detroit School Superintendent Deborah McGriff about the creation of male academies in the city.
The Male Academy is in the very near future. In fact, should be starting in the fall. Can you give an update as to where it will be, how many people will be involved? And then obviously now and the ACLU, they're ready and waiting. They do have some serious concerns about the Academy, and how do you answer those concerns?
Let me try it in 2 ways. One, a few weeks ago, the Board of Education approved 4 principals, really 3 principals and an assistant principal, pursuing the notion through empowerment of a male academy or a male academy program, so that we will have schools or programs within schools starting in September, hopefully in at least 4 different locations. We have thousands of parents who've already expressed an interest in having their sons enrolled in the academy. We're planning to work very closely with Spencer Holland from Maryland, who's initiated a number of mentoring programs in the school system there. We're listening very carefully to our critics, and we're trying to find a way to neutralize that criticism. We are committed to having an environment for African American males that will reduce those negative statistics that you presented at the beginning of this roll-in. And so we're trying to build both bridges, but we're not going to back down on the fact that what we're doing isn't making it, and we need to provide some other opportunity. We see the Male Academy as a pilot program that will teach us how to make the coeducational environment one that will work for African American males.
Because naturally one of the arguments is, okay, what's being done for young women? They have serious problems too. There's the issue of pregnancy, things like that. And, you know, is there something comparable that will happen for them?
That's our expectation. Once again, if there is a building administrator who comes forward with a group of teachers who are interested in creating a program for female students, and once again, it's not the notion that we want to segregate young people, but it is a notion that there are lots of young people who are succeeding in coeducational environments. There are a larger number of young people who are not succeeding in those environments, and we need to learn what to do for those young people to make them successful.
The Milestones Agency of Metro Detroit has taken on the mission of building stronger families and communities by helping at-risk boys and young men develop into productive adults. The nonprofit teaches them about the responsibilities of manhood and how to replace negative behaviors with positive choices. Joining me now is the founder and executive director of the Milestones Agency, Emmett Mitchell. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
So
Appreciate it.
very noble aim there. There are a lot of organizations, I think, that are trying to work in this space right now. Tell me how yours is different.
So one of the things that we like to pride ourselves on at the Milestones Agency is that we've developed an in-house curriculum. And so this curriculum is specific and unique to the needs of black boys in urban areas all around the country. It's evidence-based, and we put a lot of work and research into finding some things that we feel like will challenge them and pull the best out of these boys. There are a couple of agencies who do work similar to ours, but I think we are unique because we have a curriculum developed by myself and Dr. Renee Moorhan that helps the boys along.
And talk about what is in that curriculum. What are the things that you're doing with these young men?
So the program is Survivor Success and Leadership Training, and it's broken down into 3 segments. The first segment is survival, of course, and then success, and then leadership. The survival portion teaches them how to interface with law enforcement, the things that they need to become productive young men in society, what to eat, how to build healthy relationships with mom, with potential girlfriends or love interests and things like that, how to treat themselves. The second segment is the success portion. We teach them about building wealth. What is success, the definition of that? What does it mean to you as an individual? And then in the leadership portion, we teach them the characteristics of leaders, but also how to take all of the things that they've learned and teach them to the ones that they will care for when they get older.
So almost creating a circle of things that from that beginning to the end. I want to talk about that first portion, though, for a bit, survival. First of all, that word, the idea that that's an important word for young black men, not just in Detroit, but everywhere in America. I think we have to stop and sort of take note of that for just a second, right?
Absolutely.
That it is about survival, and that there are things that threaten not just their well-being, but their lives.
Absolutely. So we have to take into account when we are educating black boys that the country that we live in is diametrically opposed to their success.
Yes.
And they need to understand that. And we use that as motivation to help them build a drive to want to do better. Sometimes agencies will build curriculums that help boys become successful in a sense, but never challenge them to understand the true essence of where they are residing and what their role and responsibility will be as they become men to lead the next generation into awareness in regards to having healthy relationships with America and the people who reside in America.
And talking to them about how to deal with law enforcement, talking to them about how to eat, how to stay healthy. I mean, unfortunately, we don't have enough other inputs to young black men right now to sort of keep them on that path.
Absolutely. We like to make sure that the young men value themselves, so they will keep all poisonous things out of the body, whether it's bad food, alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs, all of the things that can kind of slow them down from being ambitious. And the food intake portion is very important because we actually teach them the alkaline and the pH scale with alkaline and acid. And we teach them the foods that if you're going to eat some bad foods, you need to balance that with some very good
Don't
foods.
eat all bad foods.
Exactly. We can't expect them to be perfect, but we can find some balance there.
Yeah. The relationship portion of what you're talking about, I think that's a really interesting dimension as well, and something that we don't talk about enough, which is that to have healthy relationships as an adult, you sort of have to learn how to do that as a kid, and there aren't enough models in enough kids' lives for them just to pick that up. We have to talk about that stuff.
Right. Well, for most of our boys, that begins with reconciling and forgiving dad. So
because their dads are not part of their lives.
Or if they are present, there are some things missing there, right?
Yeah.
And so we have to go through this process of acknowledging that, forgiving, and then making sure that we don't emulate that behavior.
Yeah.
And the best way to get a boy to do better is to get them to understand the impact of what someone else did or did not do for them on their lives. And so we challenge them to build healthy relationships by forgiving, acknowledging that it happened. We do not want to discredit your experience, but at some point you're going to have to move on to be made a whole adult.
Yeah. And then the leadership piece, this idea that once you survive and once you get to this place that you're an adult and sort of have a healthy set of relationships around you, that you can sort of pay back, or I guess pay forward in some ways, right?
Absolutely.
And help other people to get to that space. I'm curious about the feedback you get from young men at the end of that. Are they cognizant and willing to go back and do that?
Well, so we are maybe a solid 7 years in.
Okay.
And so we have some boys who are now men, maybe 23, 24 years old, and they come back and they help with the program. We are still in close contact, and we now are brothers. So this moved from a teacher-mentor relationship to a brother-to-brother relationship. They have children, they have families, a few of them now, and they are very appreciative of the things that we have done. And our scalable model, or our evidence, is when we churn out men who are doing the job. So that's kind of how that works for us.
What about on the front end of that? What are you seeing with young men in Detroit? I ask everybody who works with young people in Detroit. I think this is a unique time in the city's history. I think there are a lot of things that go on every day for people who live here that people don't see all the time. But talk about some of those things that you're seeing in terms of how desperate this need is and how receptive those boys are to help.
Well, the first thing I'm seeing in the young men is their response to being left without a voice, being marginalized, and not having opportunities and resources. And opportunities can be opportunities as simple as a safe play space or a space where they can express themselves. So we advocate on their behalf in as many capacities as we can. And I'm a firm believer that our young men are in the situation that they are in because we as adults have failed them. That is my working direction. That is where I start from. I don't start from a perspective of expecting them to modify their behavior without any other support or acknowledgement. So the first thing that I look at is, what is the surrounding environment doing for them? What is the family structure like? And what can I do to bring some stability there, me and the team and all of the support people that I work with? And so I'm seeing a lot of young men who need and who want structure, who want leadership, and who want to modify their behaviors, but there's just
there's no
foundation.
modeling, right?
Exactly, there's no foundation there to get them started, and so that's kind of where our work begins.
All right. Well, congratulations on the work, and thanks very much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I
American
appreciate
Black
it.
Journal, and good luck in the future.
Thank you.
That's going to be our program for today. Thanks for watching. You can get more information about our guests at AmericanBlackJournal.org. And as always, you can connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. We'll see you next time.
American Black Journal is funded by the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, a partner with communities where children come first.
How does diversity bring energy to us all? At DTE Energy, we believe that it's the contributions of all that build great communities. As a company, we grow stronger by welcoming the unique perspectives of everyone. As community members, we support our state's broad culture and heritage. From working closely with women and minority-owned suppliers to embracing our local cultures, DTE Energy is powering diversity. The DTE Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of Detroit Public Television. Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
Ford has a long history of honoring the achievements of great men and women. We also recognize that honoring means ensuring their legacies are carried forward. 2018 marks the 50th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination. To continue his legacy, Ford is partnering with the King Center and encouraging everyone to perform 50 acts of kindness. Between now and August 28, go to mlk54.org and register your act of kindness. Add Ford in the group name, as Ford will recognize select actions from our Southeast Michigan community. Perform your simple act of kindness, and together we'll carry forward Dr. King's dream of creating a beloved community.